Welcome back for the second cat painting. So this time you choose your own photo, or if you don't have one, you can go with the one I have from the internet. So take your nice big sheet of watercolor paper. I suggest, at least in this case, this cat need about a 16 by 20 inches paper, and I would not suggest to go smaller than this with any painting, no matter how is your photo, but try to get the shape fit your photo. So if it's a very elongated, you can choose a, I don't know, like 14 by 20 or the 18 by 24 inches paper. Just make sure it's a good frame for your cat. And dilute up or make your paint wet, and we are ready to start. So I do exactly the same thing, and what I did before. I use a gray watercolor pencil to draw an outline. In this photo is a little bit more complicated than the previous one. The previous one was more like an abstract cat from above. This is more like reality, I think. So, and I don't know your photo, of course. So draw the details you will need, especially the body parts are like in different planes. So you need to leave border between those body parts which are in different planes to make sure that the colors not flowing together, and because if it happens, then it brings everything in the same 3D plane or Z plane, but you don't want that. So draw out the outline and then add some details, like in this case it's the ear. Talking about the ear closer to the viewer, so because it's front of the body, and it's the same with the paws. And I add the tail because I just don't like this cat don't have visible tail, so I add the tail on the side. And in this case, I decided to use some masking fluid, which I didn't do it before. For the masking fluid, I use the reed stick to apply, and I will use it to draw the whiskers, the edges of the ear, maybe on both ear. It just helps later with the separation. And the second, the ear further, which is the right ear of the cat, if you have an outline, it just gives a very sharp edge to the ear, which is good, and it's a little bit helpful when you paint. You don't need to be very careful. The masking fluid is a very like a dense liquid, and it has elements it usually separates. So before using it, it's good to shake it up, but not try to make it bubbly. Just turn upside down for a few times slowly, and it will help a lot with the consistency. So as you can see, I draw some details, the feet, the fingers, and some part of the face. So I think it's kind of ready to go to the masking fluid. Make sure you're not pushing too much your pencil down You don't want to hurt the structure of the paper. Just keep the marks on a surface, because we will eliminate as we did it before. So I'm shaking up the masking fluid a little bit. And so if you use a stick or a reed stick, or actually if you use anything with the masking fluid, I usually, when I dip it in the stick, when I dip the stick into the masking fluid, it's usually pick up too much. So I remove a little bit to draw a line on a piece of paper next to me. And in this case, it just draw a finer line. Like try like make 3-4 lines and see which one is the right thickness, and next time you just start to draw on your real painting whenever it's the same amount of masking fluid. So you will see with the test how many times you need to pull before you use it. So I add the whiskers, the ear, the edge of the ear, and I label the eye. I choose this photo because it has no details on the eye. It's usually difficult, so it's just a little label where is the eye. On the end, I will, when I remove the masking fluid, I will make it barely visible. And probably that's it. For the masking fluid, you need to wait until it's fully dry. You can't start to paint until it's fully dry. It can take 10-20 minutes. Touch with your finger. If it's go in your finger, then it's not ready. Don't start to wet your paper before it's 100% dry, because it will make a mess and it can destroy a very pricey brush. So then I wet the paper a little bit. You don't need water butter, but it's good if you have a spray butter. You can use a brush, or you can just dip your paper towel a little bit into water and make sure it's not dripping. Just push it out, the water, and then just remove the watercolor pencil, but not entirely. Just remove until it's barely visible, so you can see it where are your marks, but it's hard to see. Don't remove everything, because you will need as a guideline during the painting. And then you can use a dry paper to dry up, a dry paper towel to dry up your paper, your watercolor paper. And if it's not dry entirely, don't start to work, because when you start to work, no matter if your brush contains paint or just water, where the paper is wet, this thing will either the paint or the water will spread into your paper, and you will not have good edges. So I was waiting a little bit. If you are impatient, just use a hairdryer. Make sure it's dry.